Max B coming home. Where we at with that? Are you able to get past that?
No. Now we get past now. We can get past that now. You want to get past it? Or you want to dive more into it? Or you want me to tweak it?
I want you to pass it at some point.
You want me to crash out?
I definitely don't want you to crash out because I don't want to crash out. Now, what I want for myself, I want for my brother.
I appreciate it.
You see what I'm saying? Because there's too much money out here, there's too much life out here, and I like to do the things that I like to do. Ain't nothing feel better than living right now.
You right?
Looking better, smelling better, tasting better, the face is better. Fuck with your motherfucking brother. I'm on my way. I'm feeling righteous. Oh man, they gonna eat me alive. Fuck with your boy, and those who ain't getting from the ground up, I'm charging y'all tenfold. Fuck with your boy. We independent, nigga. EMG, Max Bigger Vale, sign out. Ow.
Let's not get close to the gate, guys. They're gonna tell us to move.
Nah, fuck Max B.
Okay.
Max, I'm dick. Fuck out of here.
Okay. Has that conversation even come up though?
No, people don't play with me with that conversation. Ain't nobody can tell me nothing about that. That's the first thing I say. You heard?
Okay.
That's how you feel. That end the deal for anybody. Ain't no Max talking about conversation. Period.
Max B stepped out of prison today after spending 16 long years locked up, and the whole hip-hop world is buzzing with shock and excitement. His name has been echoing through Harlem for decades, and people have been waiting for this moment like it was some kind of urban legend finally coming to life. But while everyone else is celebrating, one man has stayed completely quiet. Jim Jones. Their fallout is still one of the most intense breakups in New York rap history, and even after all this time, it seems like Jim hasn't let his anger go. The energy between them has never been repaired, and people are wondering if this silence says more than any statement ever could. This is the real story of how their bond cracked apart, why Jim refuses to show any love, and what this return might mean for both of their futures in the culture.
I think two egos was just coming together, two big personalities. You know, I wasn't there for that. I was just happy to be involved. You know what I'm saying? Just in the game. I'm never trying to come take nobody's shit. I'm in my own world, B. I'm existentialist, man. I like to do my own shit. You know, I come from a whole nother spot. So, you know, it was just egos clashing, a lack of respect, you know what I'm saying? And shit's like everything. That shit don't mix well, and next thing you know shit, we beefing. So as far as the content or whatever, it should have went a different way. You know what I'm saying? I think today we would have handled the situation different. But, you know, I mean, we was young. Right. We was all crazy. And now we here. We older. We got kids. And people looking at us, we got to set the right example. We can't be looking crazy out here. So it is what it is. It's all love. I'm trying to get back on that plate.
Look out the window with the layers.
Back in 2009, Max B got hit with a shocking 75-year sentence after a late-night robbery at a hotel in New Jersey turned deadly. What made the case even wilder is that Max wasn't even physically there when the shooting happened. The court still charged him with felony murder and conspiracy, insisting he was the mastermind behind the whole setup. Prosecutors claimed his ex-girlfriend, Gina Conway, moved on his word and carried out the plan exactly how he laid it out. Max told the court he was innocent every step of the way, but the jury didn't buy it and found him guilty on 9 out of 11 charges, sending him away for what felt like forever. His legal team never stopped pushing, arguing that Max didn't even get a fair shot in the first place, and they kept fighting year after year while he sat in a cell trying to keep hope alive. Then in 2016, things took a dramatic turn. Max's lawyers revealed something wild. His original lawyer, Gerald Saluti, wasn't just handling the case. He was also acting as Max's manager and entertainment attorney at the same time. That's a massive conflict of interest, and Max's team said Gerald pushed him to reject a 10-year plea deal so Max could go to trial. Why? Because if Max beat the case and came home, Gerald would profit even more from Max's future music moves. But if Max took the deal and sat down for 10 years, all that money would disappear. A judge took a hard look at the situation and agreed the whole thing was messy and unfair. The original conviction got thrown out. Max was retried, and although he was still found guilty, this time his sentence dropped from 75 years to 20 years, with time served counting. That reduced sentence meant Max could have stepped out as early as 2025, and today, that moment finally hit for real. Max walked out this morning fully free for the first time since 2009, and the entire hip-hop scene lit up instantly. People started celebrating like a legend had just risen out of the shadows, remembering those mixtapes he dropped back in the late 2000s that had the streets on lock. Artists who always showed him love started reacting right away, and fans were already imagining what Max's first track is gonna sound like now.
Let's see it, nigga.
Hold up, man. Let little Sharon get in there. Let little Sharon get in there.
There she go.
Where little Sharon at? I'm gonna get on the phone. Hold up. Yo, them jeans ain't tight enough, nigga.
I nigga look like 30. Yeah.
Them jeans ain't tight enough, nigga.
Sad muscle. Yeah.
My fucking brothers is back together.
They finally did it. They finally did it. They finally did it.
Good. Let's go get that
They
sandwich
finally did
now.
it. We going to Morocco.
Nah, fuck Max B.
Okay.
Max, suck dick. Fuck out of here.
Folks were wondering if he still has that raw wave he was known for, or if he's coming back with a whole new energy. That old series he cooked up with another Harlem artist is still treated like gold, and people are hoping they can spark that same vibe again. But while everybody was cheering, one name stayed completely quiet. Jim Jones, and that silence got people talking fast. Max and Jim's history goes way back almost 2 decades, all the way to the early 2000s when Harlem started taking its spot back in New York's rap scene. They moved in the same circles, recorded together, and helped bring Harlem back into the spotlight after years of other boroughs controlling the sound. Max was even part of Jim's squad Bird Gang, rolling with other Harlem artists like Stack Bundles. Everything looked solid between them, until ego, money, and tension messed it all up. A while back, someone asked Jim straight up during an interview if he'd ever work with Max once Max got released. People were curious because Jim had just made peace with another New York rapper he'd feuded with, so fans wondered if he'd extend that same energy, but Jim shut it down quick. He didn't dance around it, he didn't soften it, he said no. He made it clear the situation with Max was personal, deep, and something he wasn't willing to forget or work past. He didn't break down every detail in that moment, but anyone who paid attention to their history already knew what he meant.
I'm seeing people on the internet talk about Jim Jones. Oh, you're petty. You're a grown man. You need to let that go. A nigga fuck my bitch. I ain't never letting it go. Man, hear my theme music, bruh. Jim put him on. How dare you come and disrespect me after I gave you the platform? If it wasn't for me, nobody would have known who you was. Max B is Cam's man. And Jimmy put him on. When Cam ain't put him on, Cam looked at Max and was like, oh, nigga, you rap? You rapping now? He looked at you like the dirty nigga with the fucking wavy hair and big ass shades with the big ass chrome heart jeans. That's who Max B was, bro. And Jimmy gave him a platform and he put him on just for him to diss him? That's not crazy to y'all? And then he talking about he smashed his girl and y'all want Jim to let that slide? Oh, Max B wrote Ballin'. Max B is the one that inspired the whole style. So what, nigga? Jim was the big homie, bro. Give me that song, nigga. You don't need that. Give me that style. You don't need that. Go back to writing songs, nigga.
And now that Max is officially free and walking around again, Jim's silence today says everything. He didn't post, didn't hint, didn't throw shade, nothing. And honestly, that quiet feels louder than any diss track he could ever drop. Their beef goes all the way back to 2006 and 2007, and it wasn't some regular rap battle or clout competition. This was about loyalty, money, family ties, and respect. Things that cut deeper than music. Right before everything fell apart, Max was on the edge of a solo breakout. He had just helped Jim write We Fly High, the biggest hit Jim ever had. That track blew up everywhere, turned into a cultural moment, and pushed Jim into a whole new lane beyond just being seen as someone else's side member in a bigger crew. That song brought in real money and real opportunities for Jim. But when Max got arrested in 2006 and needed help posting a massive $2 million bail so he could fight his case from the outside, when Max expected Jim to hold him down with real support, things took a completely different turn. Instead of helping with the bail money straight up, Jim pulled up offering a record deal, something Max didn't see coming at all. The deal came with an advance he could use to get out of jail, but there was a major catch. Max had to hand over all his publishing rights to get that money. If you know music, you know publishing is everything. That's the long-term bread, royalties, future checks, everything an artist earns from their work for years. Giving that up meant Max would basically lose control of his own music before it even had the chance to change his life, and he felt that pressure heavy because he was sitting in a cell facing decades for something he said he didn't do. Max didn't have the luxury to negotiate or shop around. He needed freedom so he could sit with his lawyers, build a real defense, and fight for his life. With no other choices on the table, he signed the deal, even though he knew it was rough and would hurt him down the line. And that decision hit him hard later. It became one of the biggest cracks in their friendship. By the time Max finally came home in 2007, after almost a year waiting inside for his trial, the bond between him and Jim was basically shattered. Max felt like he'd been taken advantage of at one of the scariest moments of his life. He thought Jim should have helped as a real friend, not turned the situation into a business arrangement. And the more Max talked about it over the years, the more you could hear that pain in his voice. Max said he wasn't just showing up for hooks. He claimed he was helping build whole songs, verses, concepts, melodies, the entire vibe. He felt like he helped shape Jim's sound from behind the scenes. But when it came to breaking bread, he was treated like an extra instead of a partner. Max even said that when they performed together, he'd get paid around $300 a show, while Jim walked away with $10,000 to $15,000 for the same night.
Would you be okay with your friend doing business with your enemy?
I can't go to the Max B party because you're my friend. Because you're my fucking friend, nigga. At the end of the day, I'm a person that your enemies is my enemy. Because that's the love that I got for you. If we like that, then I'm gonna take on whatever it is that you got going on, and it's fuck them. Then I gotta feel the same way. If everybody don't come from that world, that's the world I come from. So what I'm saying is, I wouldn't be okay if niggas was congregating with my enemies. I would not be okay. At the end of the day,
if you my friend and you my guy, definitely not.
I better not see you with a nigga I don't like, bro. So there's a sense of loyalty that gotta go with that.
Right.
You understand? And I don't want to congregate with niggas that don't love you, don't like you, that want to do harm to you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? As a brother, you see, that is the key. So when the relationship is deeper than just business, you got to stick to that code, my brother. Any enemy he ever had is mine. Any enemy I got is his. For me.
That kind of gap hit Max hard because he believed he was bringing real value to every performance. He wasn't trying to be the person in the background. He felt he was a key part of the energy that made the crowd go crazy. And on top of all that, Max had to deal with all the drama that came with rolling next to Jim. Jim had problems with different artists and crews in multiple cities, and whenever they hit a stage, those issues followed. People would show up ready to cause chaos, chairs getting thrown, fights exploding in the crowd, folks trying to rush the stage. It was pure madness at times. Max was out there dealing with real danger for barely any pay, and the pressure kept piling up. He felt like he was pulling way more weight than he was ever getting credit for, and that disrespect sat heavy on him. Things flipped even harder once he ended up behind bars in 2009, because that's when Max finally let everything out in interviews from jail. He started telling the world that he helped craft We Fly High and that Jim was taking credit for work Max said he played a major role in. Max also talked about how he felt left behind when he needed support the most, saying Jim wouldn't even help with his bail even though they were supposed to be like family. That hit people's ears different, and suddenly fans wanted answers. Jim fired back in his own interviews saying Max was stretching the truth. Jim said Max might have thrown in some hooks or ideas, but he wasn't writing entire songs the way Max was claiming. But then Max started dropping music straight from prison, full mixtapes that showed he had real writing talent with or without a cosign. Projects like Public Domain and Public Domain 2 showed he could build hits all on his own, and fans started wondering if Max really was the one shaping Jim's early sound. That kind of doubt hurt Jim's credibility, and the whole situation got more personal than ever. But then Max took things somewhere Jim felt you could never come back from, and that shifted the beef into a whole different territory. Max started taking shots at Jim's longtime partner, Chrissy Lampkin, in interviews and on mixtapes, something many people said crossed a major line. Max claimed Chrissy gave him intimate attention by the pool during a trip to Miami, and he didn't keep it subtle or respectful. He doubled down and turned it into a whole track called She Touched It in Miami. The song flipped Jim's own record Summer with Miami, but Max used it to brag about being with Chrissy and to take direct shots at Jim at the same time. The lyrics were bold, messy, and designed to embarrass Jim in the worst way possible. Once that happened, a lot of folks felt like things left the level of rap competition and went straight into real-life disrespect. And honestly, plenty of people understand why Jim kept his distance after that. Max didn't just challenge him musically. He went at his relationship, questioned his credibility as an artist, and tried to paint him as weak in front of the whole rap world. Those are the kinds of hits that don't fade away, no matter how much time passes. In hip-hop, loyalty and respect hold serious weight. When someone crosses certain lines, coming back from that isn't something everyone is willing to do. And you also gotta remember, Jim has spent nearly 2 decades building his name, his business moves, his alliances, and his reputation in the industry, and protecting that foundation matters. Jim has built a whole lane for himself over the last 2 decades. He's worked with major artists, launched smart business moves, and turned into somebody a lot of younger talent look up to. His reputation today is built on consistency and growth, not drama. So bringing Max back into his circle could easily shake that up. Max is known for being unpredictable and speaking his mind with no filter. When he feels a certain way, he says it loud, even if it causes problems later. Jim might not feel comfortable risking everything he's built by reconnecting with someone who once embarrassed him publicly and showed he could flip when things get rough. But whether Jim forgives him or not, Max is already pushing forward. He's talking about getting straight into the studio and cooking up new music now that he's free. And one person who's always shown him love is still right by his side, French Montana. He's been loyal through Max's entire sentence, and he was one of the first to show support today. Those two are almost guaranteed to jump back into the booth together and see if they can recreate that wave they once had. Max still has fans who never left his corner. People kept his old mixtapes alive from the early 2000s all the way until now, and a new generation found his music even while he was gone. Folks are excited to hear what kind of stories he's going to tell now that he's stepping back into the world after 16 years locked away. His whole perspective is different, and fans are ready to hear it. But the fact that Jim didn't say a single thing about Max coming home, that speaks volumes. It shows that some beefs in hip-hop don't fade, not even with time or age. Jim built his life without Max, and he doesn't need him for anything now. He's stable, respected, and has no reason to revisit a relationship that brought him pain and chaos. So Max is going to rebuild without Jim in his corner, and that makes the journey tougher, but definitely not impossible. Max has talent, a fan base, and a story people want to hear. What he doesn't have is a bridge back to Jim, and realistically, that bridge is never getting rebuilt. Too many moments, too many wounds, too many words you can't take back. Both of them feel justified in their stance, and there's no clear right or wrong anymore. It's just two former friends who went through things they can't forget, and now they're living separate lives with no intention of reconnecting. So let me ask you, should Jim forgive Max now that he's finally home after 16 years? Or is this one of those situations where walking away forever is the only answer? Max, stepping back into the world after so long, isn't just about music or beef. It's also about the environment he's walking into. The industry he left behind in 2009 is nothing like the one he's re-entering today. Back then, mixtapes controlled the streets, physical CDs still mattered, and artists built their names city by city. Now everything moves through digital platforms, viral moments, and fast-changing trends. For someone like Max, this shift is huge, but it also gives him a rare advantage. He already has a legend status before recording a single new verse. People are curious, and curiosity is powerful. Industry insiders have been quietly talking about labels watching Max's return very closely. Even without Jim's support, Max has a story that sells. A Harlem artist who survived the system, kept creating behind bars, and walked out with a voice people still care about. That alone can open doors for him if he plays his cards right. But there's another layer to this whole situation. While Max is being celebrated, there's a lot of chatter about how his release could shift energy in the Harlem music scene. Younger artists who grew up listening to him are already calling him a pioneer. Some of them have said they'd love to collaborate, hoping to tap into the wave he created years ago. Max could easily slide into the mentor role or even start a new collective if he decides to build his own movement instead of joining someone else's. On the flip side, Jim's silence has people debating whether old street politics still influence today's music relationships. Some folks believe Max reconnecting with the wrong people could create tension that nobody wants to revisit. Others think Max might purposely avoid anything tied to his past and reinvent himself completely. New team, new sound, new approach. After 16 years, he might not be interested in reopening old wounds or chasing old drama. There's also talk about whether Max's experiences behind bars will shape the type of music he makes now. People want to hear growth, but they also want the raw edge he was known for. Balancing both could be the key to making a real comeback. And whether or not Jim is part of that journey, Max clearly has a lane waiting for him if he chooses to take it. At this point, everyone is split on what should happen next between these two. Some people feel like Jim is completely justified in keeping his distance after everything that went down. From his perspective, protecting his peace, his brand, and his household makes total sense, especially after the things that were said and done. Not every situation needs a reunion, and not every story needs a happy ending, especially when the history is filled with wounds that never fully healed. But on the other side, there are people who believe Max deserves a real fresh start. 16 years is a long time to sit, grow, reflect, and change your whole outlook on life. A lot can shift in a person's heart. Some feel like he's earned the chance to rebuild without having old mistakes thrown at him forever. Others think the culture itself should make space for redemption, especially for someone who left such a big impact before everything crashed around him. Whether forgiveness ever happens or not, one thing is clear. This moment is huge for hip-hop. Max's return is already stirring conversations, shaking old memories loose, and making people pick sides in a story that stretches across decades. So let me know what you think. Should Jim give him a chance, or is staying away the smartest move? Drop your thoughts below because I want to hear where you stand. And if you're still here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I've got more celebrity drama, wild stories, and deep dives coming your way. Check out the next video popping up on your screen for even more chaos and breakdowns. See you on the next one.